أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Nowadays we are discussing Surah Alam Nashra, Surah number 94. And on the day when I had started the discussion, I had uh, uh, placed the entire Surah before you, and I had highlighted some of the words. And then I had said that after discussing certain scientific, psychological, neurological concepts behind these statements which are made in the surah, we'll come back to the discussion of the surah from Quran, from the word of Quran. So now we are in the process of discussing the concepts which are behind the theme and behind the context behind the theme of this entire surah. Last time, keeping in view the questions which were raised at the end, I may clarify certain points and then I'll continue with the discussion. Here, the idea we are not discussing how to concentrate on prayer or how to concentrate on any point or anything. That is not under discussion. We are not discussing the empty mind. We are not discussing any special practice which particularly Sufis do, like Chilla, like Muraqaba, like any other practice which which have been developed around certain concepts. I will discuss this from the word of Quran, but these concepts which are there behind the theme of the surah, I'm concentrating on that. And I had submitted that there are three words basically on which I'm concentrating, and within those three words, only one word. The three words are Faiza Farakta, Fansab, and Fargab. These are the three words. What do they mean? What is their connection? What is the concept? What is the science behind that? This is the topic which we are discussing. And within these three words, one main word which is the beginning word in the beginning, that is Faiza Farakta. When you are farid. Uh, Now, keeping the questions which were raised last time, that is why I said that I'm clarifying again that we are not discussing any issue of concentration, but basically what I experienced during the course of counseling sessions, that the young generation, young people, and the old people, they usually complain that they uh, get bored. They don't know what to do. This is the question. When somebody says that I am bored and I don't know what to do, I have time, but I don't know what to do. Or whenever I finish something and then I think that I still have time and I don't find any other thing what to do, and then I start fiddling with the smartphone or anything, then still I don't find a productive thing, any positive thing to engage myself. Then I went deeper into that issue in from the point of psychology and from the point of view of Quran. Then uh, I had discussed some points last time from psychology. These were the four main networks of the brain, which I had pointed out, but I am concentrating on just one part, one network in the brain, that is default mode network. There are about 17 networks which have been identified. Out of 17, these are the four, and within these four, we are concerned with default mode network, which closely It is not the translation of Quranic word, but closely which represents or points out towards understanding the concept of faiza farakta. When somebody is farig, when somebody has time but no work, one wants to work but he is not finding it interesting enough to engage himself. So there is a problem of engagement, there is a problem of activity, there is a problem of interest, and uh, I had distinguished that boredom or the word I'm feeling bored, it is a specific psychological term which is discussed in psychology, but it does not exactly give the meaning of faiza farakta. I am discussing it mainly from the point of view of having a free mind. When you have a free mind, and don't allow this free mind to convert into an idle mind. These are two different things, idle mind and free mind. To be farig, one has to identify that whether I have a free mind or I have an idle mind. Idle mind is the devil's workshop where Satan gives its own show. It gives options. It gives vasvasa. It engages. If the mind is empty, and we are not discussing empty mind, and we are not discussing idle mind, we are discussing the free mind, which, and I, as a difference between the free mind and idle mind, I had also said that when our concept, our iman starts with La ilaha, we free our mind from any other concept. Free. Now, when it is free, don't leave it as idle. Don't leave it empty. Immediately it follows because it cannot remain a vacuum. As long as mind is alive, the ideas keep on pouring. If there is a vacuum, some idea, some concept, some neurotransmitter will emit. It will fire. It will try to fill the gap. So immediately it is illallah. There is no gap. So here we are discussing the default mode network of the brain out of those 17 and out of these four. And this starts working, it becomes active only when all other networks are closed. As long as the other networks are busy, somebody is busy, for example, even simple things, eating, talking, doing anything, as long as other uh, modes are open, networks are open, they are working, the default mode network does not work. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked that come to me, وَتَبَتَّلِ اللَّهِ تَبْتِيلًا. You close all other things and then come to me with full free mind which is concentrated, which is devoted, which is focused, which is free and open for me. And in Surah Muhammad, it requires that don't put lock on your heart. Don't put locks on your mind. Come to the Quran openly, with free mind, with open mind. Come to Quran with open mind. And during the course, we will also see that the Quran demands that come to the Quran when you are able to understand, when you are able to listen to your own word. This we will see scientifically why it is important when Quran says, come to talk to me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, come to talk to me in the prayer when you can understand your own word. Islam is a religion, is a deen, is a way of life in which the main purpose is to keep the man conscious, conscious of God, conscious of himself. Anything which sedates, which hinders the thought process, which hinders the capacity or capability to work, it has been prohibited. That is why khamr has been prohibited. That is why alcohol, liquor has been prohibited, because it sedates. It is a religion to keep the mind active, conscious, to keep the person active. So when default mode network opens, it's not empty. And we have to make a conscious effort not to keep it idle. We have immediately to go to the concept illallah. And what does how it works then? Complex interplay of brain networks involves several brain regions working together. Faiza Farakta, when DMN is activated, when the default mode network is activated, when all other networks are closed, there is one part within the cortex. This is science. Within the cerebral cortex, insula. Within, it is within, deep within, is key hub for sensory and emotional processing. When all these networks are working, when all these networks are working, within the cortex, cerebral cortex, there is a hub of activity in the insula where sensory and emotional signals are processed. Sensory and emotional. Sensory means the signals which are received from the five senses. Five senses, signals from five senses are processed. And then the signals from the emotions, from the feelings, from the social intelligence, which we call social intelligence. Now they are processed together. This region shows increased activity when detecting internal body signals. Internal body signals. There is a language within the body. There is a language of transmitters. There is a chemical language through which the entire body, all the cells within the body, they are in communication with each other. Right from the foot to the head, every cell is in communication not only within the cell itself, but with every other cell, with every other part of the body. So there is an internal body communication. And this internal body communication has a communication with the cosmos. Physically, scientifically, I'm not yet talking about religion. Physically, it is connected with the cosmos. There is a signaling around the body, electromagnetic field. There is a signaling around in the environment and with the heavens. And the scientists agree that there is a signaling system, whether you call it cosmic or you call it divine. There is a communication. And I had quoted from a book and put experiments of Dr. Penrose, a neurosurgeon, that they agree now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all the time in communication, but are we listening? That is the problem. As long as the 16 networks are working, we don't listen to God. We listen to God when the 16 shops are closed and only DMN is open. And then at that point, when we open the default mode network, even if we don't make any effort, we we receive alqa. Our ilham, which has already been embedded, that starts working. We start listening to the signaling from God, the communication from God. We also start listening to our own body from within. This will become clear when we proceed further. Internal body signals. When we listen to the internal body signals, when there is a DMN, when the default mode network is on, that is sometimes when we say ourselves, I get a thought, I get a signal that I'm feeling bored because all other works have been closed, workshops have been closed. Only one workshop is now open, that is DA main, and now it is telling me that I'm getting bored. The mind is empty. There is every chance of attack from the Saturn. There is every chance of going this into the idle mode, idle mind. Now, this free space I have to utilize and make a connection to listen to myself within the body and to listen to God. This is scientific. I'm not talking of Sufism. This is science. This is called scientifically in science, in psychology, this is process is called introspection. Introspection is the when we are connected with the intuition, tazakkur. But introspection is listening to one's own signals within the body. So introspection, when we listen to the cosmos, we listen to the divine, we listen to God, we retrieve from the memory, tazakkur, zikr, that is introspection. But this introspection is when we listen to our own body. And how we listen to our own body. Even if we try to avoid it, body makes it, forces us to listen to it. How? Introspection senses is a physical matter. This is the matter deals with five senses. Senses provide information. Five senses, touch, for example, provide information about internal state of body. Internal state of body. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that who forgive me, who forget me, who don't do introspection, they lose the power of introspection. When they forget me, they forget their own body, they forget their own selves. This is Quran telling us that when somebody forgets God, dissociates himself from God, from the divine, from the cosmos, then he himself, he forgets himself. His body forgets himself and he forgets the body. Now, in this state of DMN, the internal state of body, this communication becomes stronger in the state of DMN. And whether one is conscious or unconscious, in both the situations, the DMN helps. And how? This is complex. It is real time. This communication is real time. It is accurate and accurate representation of psychological state of mind. When I have a time of free mind, I have a free mind, and in this free mind, with this free mind, in the state of DMN, I listen to my body. I care for my body. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, now 5 times in 24 hours, leave your job and even get up. Listen to yourself. Clean yourself. Take care of yourself. When you have a free mind, you will listen to your own feelings of hunger. You will feel you might be feeling hungry, but you're so busy in your office work that you don't give attention to the signals of the body which they are coming to you from the through the stomach via gastric secretion. We don't listen to that. Psychological state of mind. When there is a positive psychological state of mind, the body releases dopamine. The brain releases dopamine and one feels more happy, happier. Sales we feel happy and they start working. Now today the boss is very happy. The sales start working happily. This is science. This maintains, this is called again scientific word, this maintains and it is called homeostatic condition. What are the homeostatic conditions of the body? They are known through the signaling of my kidneys, signaling of my brain, signaling of my liver, signaling of my stomach, in body, within the body, and it facilitates self-awareness, consciousness. When your mind is free, it means you are now in a state of consciousness where you can have the connection which we call taqwa. But as long as you are busy with 16 workshops working at the same time, the taqwa connection, the connectivity, consciousness, that is the weakest because the DMN is closed. It's not open. It is all scientific. Self-awareness, it facilitates, helps. Self-awareness, that is a state of steady internal physical and chemical conditions. One listens to the own body. It is not only listening to God, but also listening to oneself. Why Prophet, peace be upon him, the ahadith show that he is talking about, when he is talking about nawafil, about tahajjud, and says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feeds me at that time. I get special risk from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabb, my Rabb. He is special, there are special favors to me. There were special favors with Maryam when she was being brought up in the mihrab in the masjid. And these are being maintained, physical and chemical condition, that is the state of self-awareness, which is the homeostatic condition. For example, body temperature, fluid balance. These are just two examples. There are many which are part of the homeostatic condition of the body. When you give attention to your body, you come out of office, you come out of work, take a 10 minutes break, 5 minutes break, make a wuzu, go to pray. No worries, everything. I have given all other my jobs, given up my all other jobs, and I have given these jobs to God, that now He will take care of my jobs. And I have come only with a free mind to God. And at that time, one feels one's own body, one feels one's own inner self from within. This is then the introspective signals, they also trigger, they also come up. I feel hungry. As long as I was busy working, although I had worked 8 hours, but still I was not feeling hungry. I was so busy, absorbed. That as soon as I have come out of that, I'm making wuzu, I have come for namaz, I have come to the masjid, I have come to the musalla, I also feel that I'm hungry. Interoceptive signals are projected to brain. Now at that time, the stomach finds time. Also gets an opportunity to talk to the brain, I'm hungry. Kidney also complains. Liver also lodges a complaint. I have been starved. There's a problem with the metabolism. Now, misrepresentations, there can be missignals if we overwork. This will also come in the discussion. Misrepresentation of the internal states. We suppress them. The misrepresentation of the internal states or the misinterpretation of the internal states, misreading of the internal states, or disconnect between the body signals and brain's interpretation. Body gives a different signal and the brain interprets it differently. And this is the case from where the cancer starts. The cells misinterpret, or there's a disconnect. They start misbehaving. And prediction of those signals, if this is the situation, then there are certain conditions because of which this happens. There are conditions why the cancer happens. There are underlying conditions such as Anxiety, first the anxiety will emerge because we are multitasking. Multitasking is also one of the reasons of creating anxiety. Anxiety, depression, panic disorder, in everything we panic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, calm down. You can't be so tulan. You can't grow you so much to go above the mountains. You can't become taller than the mountain. Remain within your dimensions. This is Quran. You can't grow taller than the mountain. Panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, somatic symptom disorder, I can't sleep, and illness, anxiety disorder. If there is something happening, immediately I think now I'm terminally ill. I'm dying. فَإِذَا وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. I lose hope. I have no belief in this ayat. When Adam came, there was no doctor there was no clinic on the planet. It was within the DNA. It was within oneself. فَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ, as soon I make myself ill, فَهُوَ, he cures me. Interoception encompasses visceral signaling, signals from the kidney, from the stomach, from the liver, but more broadly relates to all physiological tissues, even tissues, cells, molecules that relay signal to central nervous system about current state of the body. If we don't take time out for DMN, default mode networking, if we don't reset the smartphone of the body, the smart computer of the body, we don't give it the time to go into the default mode to correct everything, bring it to the mode which the manufacturer had created. And if it continues for longer periods, then we get ill, anxiety, depression, so many other things. Now, again, there are certain uh, connections in this discussion. Why I'm last time I had before the 2 or 3 lectures before this I had skipped this discussion, but then in the from the questions last time I understood that there is perhaps there are gaps. That is why I have come to this discussion. There is another center located on the two sides in the brain. It is on the two sides. It's a dual. Two sides of the brain. It is internal alarm system, and it is called amygdala. It is the internal alarm system. Do we listen to the circadian calendar, to the circadian alarm system of the body? There is a circadian calendar. There is a circadian alarm system within the body. Surah Kahf throws light on that. Now, two scientists, Michael Young and Kanopka, professors of two different universities, their research is also totally different. But the common point between these two researches is that if a man lives in a cave which is wide enough, long enough, deep enough, long enough, where the sun, ray of the sun does not reach. And Quran tells that when the sun was coming over the cave, it was going north and south. It was deflecting. There's a deflection. Science tells us that there's a deflection point. When it deflects, the time stops. The time does not pass. The body calendar, the body clock, that changes. Circadian clock changes. Within the internal alarm system, it processes and gives alarm. It rings bells. It presses the button. Be careful. It processes emotional information. Quran says, don't go into the state of rage, anger. Don't shout at your wife. Don't shout at your children. Don't shout at your husband. Don't go into the state of rage like the kuffar. They go into rage and they perish themselves. They perish their own visra. They perish their own body, their own organs. Process emotional information and plays role in forming emotional emotional memories. They keep hurting the whole life. It's not the word, the meaning of the word, or the dictionary of the word, the logat of the word, but the way the word was said at that time. What was the what was the impression? What impression it created? That remains in the memory. Somebody asks you to eat something, but it can be politely, it can be lovingly, and it can be harshly. Eat it. You will remember the harshness. More than the word itself, you will remember the way it was said. During boredom, that is idle mind here. Now, this part I'm discussing is the idle mind when we leave this boredom as a idle mind. We don't use boredom as a free mind to receive, to connect, to be conscious, to have taqwa. During boredom, this region processes amygdala, insula. They process this region processes associated negative emotions, your negative memories, and ventral, medial, frontal cortex. I'm not going to these details. The point is that here we have to be careful that once I have said La ilaha, and if I give a pause, I keep it empty, I go into idleness, then it is atheism. There's no God. I have to immediately fill the gap. I have to immediately fill the vacuum. Illallah. Make it a free mind. A state of free mind so that you receive signaling. The moment you say Illallah, you get connected. Don't leave. The difference between the atheist and the believer is that the atheist starts as a La ilaha. He is believing in the half of the statement. And if we don't free the mind, but there are many people, majority of the human beings on the planet is who say illallah. They say illallah, but at the same time say there are other illah. So this is the difference. These two have to be connected within the free mind. Make it free and then make a connection. Consciousness, you fill the gap. Otherwise, the Satan will fill it. Boredom and overstimulation. Multitasking, working over time, not only over time, but overstimulated, becoming overstimulated, overheated. Boredom and overheating, overheating of the mind. Boredom and overstimulation. Society has created, this is the problem of the younger generation and the older generation, both. In between, also there is a problem, but it is lesser than the problem of these two generations at the extreme. Because the middle part is more employed, they are more busy, they have less problem of boredom than the other two extremities. Society has created information overload through smartphones, through computers, through what is available on the way when we are driving. Never, our mind is never empty. Where the mind is never free. It's never free. Information overload and high stress. In everything we have high stress, even in working. In fast-paced lifestyle, constant scheduling. Even when I'm praying, I'm scheduling. After this, I will do this. After this, I'll go for the lecture. After this, during the lecture, I will do this. Although I'm offering salah, but I keep on remembering I'm scheduling myself. I have to immediately run and drive. Constant scheduling keeps us occupied. There is no space, free space in the mind. It's overloaded, it is overworked, and it is overstimulated. In between activities, between any two activities, we need a pause. We'll come to that point also, where the experiments have been conducted. That how it works, why a pause is needed, why a recess is given in the schools. We need time to pause. We inadvertently model ourselves. We present as a model. I work overhead. I overtime. I work overtime. I do multitasking so that my children also adopt my model. We model ourselves for our younger generation in a particular way to show them that we are on. I'm working. I'm doing two jobs. I tell my wife I'm busy. When I come home, I have no time to talk to you. I'm busy. We present our model in such a way that constantly I am on. And we present this model to our younger generations. Constant stimulation can be costly, particularly for our nervous system. We damage it. That is why the starting point is anxiety, then depression, then other things come up. Overscheduling, as I gave an example, even during namaz, I'm overscheduling, can cause overstimulation. I stop here because I've taken more time today, and Allah willing, and if you want, we can continue it further. And when we conclude this discussion, I'll come back to the surah itself, right from Alam Nashra. We'll discuss, inshallah, Allah willing, each word, and then in tartil and in the context of the whole surah and in the context of other surah related to this surah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzat amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك اللهم لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك يا ربنا تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك. اللهم ادخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الجهل والوهم إلى نور العلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك وبطاعتك عن معصيتك وبفضلك عمن سواك. اللهم بفضلك ورحمتك أعلي كلمة الحق والدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين يا أكرم الأكرمين. Oh Allah, spread your mercy upon us. Shower us with your blessings. Increase our knowledge, grant us forgiveness, and reward us with the company of the prophets in the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, purify our hearts, strengthen our faith, increase our knowledge, and make us benefit from what you have taught us. Oh Allah, forgive our parents and all our friends and relatives who have passed away. Oh Allah, make their graves garden from heaven and grant them the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, we have many of our friends and relatives who are sick. Oh Allah, grant to all of them full and speedy recovery. Oh Allah, guide our children, protect them, and make them righteous. O Allah, grant us the power and the ability that we may be grateful for the favors you have bestowed upon us and our parent, and that we may do righteous deeds that are pleasing to you. O Allah, we seek from you all of the good, whether we know it or we don't. And we seek your refuge from all evil, whether we know it or we don't. O Allah, we seek refuge in you from incapacity, from laziness, from fear, from greed, from poverty, and from the torment of the grave. O Allah, we have many of our brethren who are living under oppression and injustice. O Allah, heal their trauma, protect their helpless, and grant them lasting peace and prosperities. O Allah, we ask with every name you have elected for yourself, that none of us leave this gathering, but his pains have been relieved, his worries have been removed, his debts have been paid, his weaknesses have been concealed, his sins have been forgiven, and his needs have been fulfilled. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.